Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the hidden challenges that come with being a deep thinker. You know, that quiet weight of seeing a little too much, and why a really powerful mind can sometimes feel less like a gift and more like a burden.
I mean, who hasn't, right? We all get stuck in our own heads sometimes, just replaying every little mistake, every awkward silence. There's a really fascinating and, yeah, sometimes difficult psychology behind why we do this, and it often starts with a mind that's just working a little too hard. To really get a handle on this, let's go way back to an ancient Greek myth. It's this powerful story about a woman who saw too much, and it gets right to the very heart of the deep thinker's dilemma.
So this is Cassandra. She was given this incredible gift of prophecy. It allowed her to see truths that pretty much everyone else missed. She wasn't just reacting to things as they happened. She could see the patterns forming underneath it all, the consequences before the causes. It's a lot like a deep thinker who walks into a room and just feels the subtle dynamics that everyone else is completely oblivious to.
And right here, this is the core problem. To know more, to see those hidden patterns, it can feel like a blessing and a curse all at once. You have this incredible insight, but it can also make you feel totally isolated, completely misunderstood, crushed under the weight of truths you just can't get anyone else to see.
So, how does a powerful mind go from being this amazing tool to a trap? Well, it often starts with a very simple and very seductive idea that you can think your way to a better life.
And at first, it totally works. You prepare, you succeed. Your insight gives you a sense of control. But eventually, you can cross this invisible line, a point of no return, where you start to believe that you can solve all of life's challenges just by simulating them in your head instead of through direct, messy, real-world experience.
And that's the trap. The mind gets stuck in something called rumination. Now, this is totally different from productive thinking, which is all about moving towards a solution. Rumination is just reliving the problem over and over and over again.
Okay, so let's break this down, because the difference here is everything. Reflection helps you learn from a mistake, right? You gain a new perspective and you move on. But rumination? Well, that just forces you to relive the mistake endlessly. You're dissecting the same thoughts until they just become completely self-defeating.
This quote from Alan Watts just captures the danger perfectly. You start thinking about your thinking. It's a process called metacognition. And it feels like you're getting all this clarity, but it can quickly turn into an endless cycle that just disconnects you from the world that's actually happening around you.
And you know, there's actually a neurological basis for this. It has to do with a part of the brain called the default mode network, or DMN for short. This network is active when we're just daydreaming or letting our minds wander. But in deep thinkers, it can become overactive, basically getting the brain stuck in this self-analysis loop that makes it incredibly hard to just be present.
So why does our mind even develop this habit in the first place? Well, it's not a flaw. In fact, it's often a brilliant survival strategy that was cooked up in childhood.
The child learns to become a master observer. Their safety literally depends on how well they can map out potential emotional dangers. They learn to notice a subtle change in someone's tone, or the meaning behind a loud silence. Their mind becomes this laboratory for predicting human behavior.
But this strategy, the very thing that was so essential for their protection, can become a cage in adulthood. Spontaneity starts to feel dangerous. The world seems safest when you experience it from inside the fortress of your own mind, and that really limits your ability to live freely and take risks.
And in our modern world, this whole tendency gets amplified. We can become almost addicted to understanding everything, to seeing the code behind reality. It's just like in The Matrix. Deep thinkers, we're drawn to the promise of that red pill. We want to see the code behind romance and careers and social dynamics. We want to understand the hidden strings that are pulling the world.
But here's the catch, the consequence. When you replace wonder with explanation, the world can start to feel a little hollow. You become a spectator, narrating your own life with all these clinical terms instead of just living it. And this is exactly where analysis paralysis creeps in. So what happens is that thinking becomes a substitute for action. Your mind convinces itself that it's working hard, that it's making progress just by understanding a problem, all while your actual life stays on hold. You're analyzing the game of life instead of actually playing it. So, if more insight, more thinking isn't the answer, then what is?
Well, the path forward isn't to think less. It's to move from observation into action. You see, the goal isn't to stop thinking. The goal is to do what Neo did. Combine that powerful insight with meaningful action. It's about learning how to walk through the world again, even when you can see the code all around you. And this is the state we're really aiming for, a flow state. It's that moment where your sense of self, that self-critical part of your mind, just temporarily disappears because you are so completely absorbed in what you're doing. Deep thinkers, we often struggle to get here because our internal critic is always watching.
This path here really outlines the journey. You move from that constant judgment of self-surveillance to a much gentler, more curious observation of your thoughts. But the ultimate goal is to get so involved in action and just living that the watcher, your inner critic, it just kind of dissolves away.
And this right here is the key takeaway. The escape isn't to defeat your mind. It's to stop trying to outthink it. It's about allowing yourself to be messy, to say the dumb thing, to make the awkward move, to just live without a constant internal audit of every single moment.
That's our explainer for today. Thanks for watching.